All right. Welcome back in to another installment of the 94 podcast. I'm joined here with Coach Chauncy, here with Jim Bushy. I'm your host, Brooke Edel. Welcome, gentlemen, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year to everyone. We have so much to cover today. We're obviously going to talk Hopkins Royals football. That's definitely the main topic to kick off. And we definitely want to also notice, there's been a lot of huge events to start the year 2025. Obviously, we definitely want to, take a moment and reflect on what's happened so far in 2025. Obviously, the victims in New Orleans, also the ongoing LA fire. So definitely want to thoughts and prayers with everyone that is being impacted. Definitely, we're thinking about you guys, and I also just want to open the floor for anyone to also, include their reactions. So I'll start here with you, Coach, in regards to 2025. How's everything going for you so far?
Hey, man, blessed. Like you said, with so many things going on, my situation can be 20 times worse. So I take every day, every moment with a big grain of salt, and just grateful for everything, and no complaints. A lot of big goals and things that we want to accomplish, per usual.
Right?
Got your resolutions and your year goals, but considering everything going on in our climate right now, I'm blessed. I'm grateful.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Jim, I guess 2025 reflections or reactions so far to start.
I mean, hey, we started off the year with tragedy. Tragedy's still going. But, hey, it's still young. We're only 11 days into the new year. There's a lot of year left, so there's a chance things can turn around.
No, go ahead.
Hold on, I'm going to tie it into sports, but I think I'll wait till we get to the sports talk.
Okay.
What about you, Brooke?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a lot of new changes in the year 2025, and you definitely want to give every year that opportunity to be a positive year, and I'm still giving this year that opportunity to be a positive year. But just being grateful, I feel like just having that attitude of gratitude, and just realizing where we are right now and understanding our moments right now, and being able to seize the moment. So that's how I'm seeing 2025 as a moment. And being able to seize this year. But we got to talk some sports. We'll mix it in. We just wanted to obviously not bury the lead in the current events.
Right.
So I know last time we talked, Hopkins Royals. We got the winning streak. Last time we talked, you guys were hot. Yeah. And talk about like that first season and what you learned, and I guess what you're excited about for the off season.
Man, first year on the 6A level, I made a jump from 3A to 6A as a head coach, and I learned a lot. A lot of the things that I knew and I've done in the past, obviously they translate. It's just on a much bigger scale. It's like taking over a business that's 3 times bigger than your last business. Similar business, similar operations, similar logistics, everything's multiplied by 3. So that was kind of a learning experience on the job a little bit, with kind of adjusting to some of the administrative demands and just logistical things going on, and so many different balls happening.
Sure.
And then also with taking over the program, we were implementing a lot of new things as well. So we got a whole bunch of new projects and initiatives going at the same time. So it was great.
That's awesome.
I'm blessed to have a great booster club and support with our vice president and our president of the booster club. A lot of good parents that were there. My coaching staff, amazing. I could not have done anything close to what we accomplished this year without those guys and all the hard work and time they put in. So blessed, grateful, man. First year, solid. We got 3 wins. 3-6 was our final record. I'm a super duper competitive guy. So,
sure.
On one hand, you're excited. We broke the streak. We had a winning streak. For those who don't know, we had a 30-game losing streak. And the majority of our players have not won a game prior to this season since 7th grade. So we're talking seniors in high school who haven't won a football game in 6-7 years. So
that's huge.
A number of great things we accomplished: breaking that streak, getting a winning streak, building the program, building the culture, being on the landscape in terms of just kind of what's happening in football in Minnesota. We had a number of outlets come out: Channel 4, Channel 5, 11. I mean, CCX came out. I mean, a number of different media outlets came to interview us and see what's going on and kind of capture our story. The Sun Sailor, local newspaper, they got a great reporter there, beat writer there, who follows Hopkins sports in that kind of northwest suburb sports area. Gotcha. So he did a great job of kind of covering and capturing what we were doing. So much positivity, so much momentum going forward. Where we are right now, we are in the off season. So weight room.
Okay.
You know, we're strongly encouraging kids to play 3 sports, so we're pushing them to play other sports. Right. And the kids who aren't doing that are in the weight room. Gotcha. We're also great at Hopkins. As you know, sports is a thing there.
Yeah.
So the majority of the sports who are playing winter sports also have weight training. So that's a blessing too. So even though if they're wrestling or whatever, playing basketball, they are doing strength training, getting bigger, stronger, and meaner. And that's our slogan: bigger, stronger, meaner. Okay. So that's what we want to build. It's part of our culture moving forward: bigger, stronger, meaner. So we're doing that. We're making progress, getting the numbers up every week, getting more kids out. Recruiting is a big thing right now. So myself and our coaches, we're combing the hallways and meeting and greeting people and trying to encourage people to come live, encourage people to come play football, that kind of thing. And that's been really positive. Okay. So that's exciting. So our top 3 goals is weight room, recruiting, and then 100% commitment. So that's what I'm preaching right now to our program. This at large, this is what we're looking to do. We do these 3 things, we'll be successful: recruit, get more kids out, weight room, and then everybody be committed. Make the sacrifices, be disciplined, be consistent, do the things that we're supposed to do, and the sky's the limit. So we're super excited, man.
That's awesome. No, there's huge things to look forward to
for sure.
For the off season, and this being your first off season with the Hopkins Royals. I guess, Jim, did you have any questions in regards to what you're hearing from Coach Chauncy about the program in its first off season?
I mean, my one question I do have is, what did you take away from this season? Some of these kids are first win since 7th grade. What's your takeaway from this, and what are you planning to build upon it to make next year even more a success?
That's a great question. So my biggest takeaway from the win and just the momentum is that I was right, that Hopkins can be great at football. So a lot of people ask me, like, hey, man, you're moving from Brooklyn Center and you got a good thing going there. Don't get me wrong, we weren't world beaters. We weren't winning state championships every year, but we had a successful, sustained program where we were winning consistently, momentum, that really put down our flag, and we were a good football program there. And to go from that situation that I built for 5 or 6 years at that school, and then a total of being an assistant coach, 7, 8, 9 years at the school, to move to a school that hasn't won in so long and that the morale was so low. When I first took the job, I seen it as an opportunity. It's an opportunity for us to come in and change the culture and build a winning football program. So that was the biggest thing I took away, is that I was right, and I proved that it's possible for us to accomplish the goals that we set out and to be successful in winning and building a good football program at Hopkins. That was number one. Going forward, it's just taking that and saying, okay, that was the tip of the iceberg. We were excited about that. We're grateful. But listen, we're not trying to win 3 games every year. That is not the goal, okay? No. And next year, we go out, we win 3 games. I'm going to look at it as a massive disappointment and a massive failure. Our goal is to win and to build successful young people. So if we're not doing that, that's going to be a big letdown for me. So that's kind of where we're at right now. Like, hey, it's possible. Hey, we're doing the right things. Let's take it to the next level. Let's do even bigger, greater things next year.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I know that when we first had you on the first time on the 94 podcast, you did talk about like a camp that you guys bust them out. Is a VIP experience. Do you have something similar to that kind of setup? I know it's early to talk about next season, but it is 2025. So right. When we're looking forward to the fall and the summer camps, spring is just right around the corner. It'll be here before we know it. 3 months from now, we'll be taking a look at like spring ball, and obviously this is definitely like encouraging to see that a lot of your kids are involved in like the winter programs at Hopkins, and knowing that Hopkins is, it's a sports hub. Like there's a lot of sports going on. There's a lot of talent,
Absolutely.
both on the boys and the girls side. So it's definitely it's a great culture, and I'm glad that we're able to at least see the beginning of your culture starting here at Hopkins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So moving forward, we are definitely going back to that camp. That was at UMD. So they have 2 of them in the month of June, early June and late June. So we're going to go to the late June one. And it's a great opportunity. We get to bus the kids up there. So last year we had 1 bus, and I think it was 52 or 53 kids that came out. So we're obviously looking to double that number.
Sure.
So we're trying to double that number, get up to 100 kids from the program up there, 9 through 12. There's opportunities for the youngsters to go out and get other youngsters. And then obviously the big boys are up there. And there's 20 plus programs from the Midwest, north part of the states here.
Okay.
So Minnesota, Wisconsin, North Dakota, South Dakota, Iowa, a lot of big time programs are up there.
Sure.
And it's very competitive. It's a great opportunity to get a sneak peek to where you're at, and then be able to build throughout the rest of the summer, because that's in June. So you got June, July, and then also going into August, you'll see where you're at, what you need to work on, et cetera. So it's a great way to kind of get a jump on what we want to do for the season, to be prepared to have a good season. And then the time spent with the kids is invaluable. All that downtime, hanging out, talking, having meals, having conversation, cracking jokes, riding on the bus, people messing with each other, all that good fun stuff that makes teams and families close. We get to do that too. And then also for our coaching staff. So our coaching staff gets time obviously away from the kids. We love the kids.
Yeah.
We love the kids. But there's certain times of the day where, the camp counselors take the kids away to give the coaches time to kind of chill out, relax, reflect, connect, whatever.
Absolutely.
So that bonding time for us as coaches is great too. So 2, 3, 4 days of us coaches just getting that quality time and together makes us even closer, stronger moving into the season. So it's great. It's great on so many levels. We're super excited.
That's awesome. And are you also, I don't know, like recruitment, are you expecting recruitment to, I know it's like year round, but like recruiting, are you recruiting like outside of the state? Are you doing trips like out of Wisconsin?
I know, right?
Yeah, like.
So technically, in the state of Minnesota, we can't outright recruit.
Sure.
So what we have to try to do is attract.
Okay.
So we want to be doing the right things. We want to have that buzz. We want to have that publicity that about our culture, about our program, that people are attracted to us and they come to us. And we've been successful in doing that. So there are some kids who are saying that they may want to come over. We have that conversation very upfront about the transfer rules and make sure everything's on the up and up. I'm not a coach that's bending those rules or going to cut any corners. The last thing I want to do is get fired for one kid when I'm supposed to serve thousands in my career. So we're not doing that.
Yep.
But if it's something we can do ethically in the right way, absolutely, doors are open. We're excited.
That's awesome.
We're excited. Part of our success this year, again, 3-6, but success for the first year. Our offensive coordinator, Brian Cupido, got a great opportunity to go to another school, take a really exciting role for him. And that's great. That's what it's all about. If our program is doing the right things and I'm doing the right things as a head coach, my assistant coaches should be moving up in the world, whether it be our program or other programs. And I'm very, very outspoken and intentional about trying to develop those coaches and to give them opportunities to accomplish their goals as coaches. So every year in the off season, every year to start the season, we always sit down and have a conversation that, hey, what are your goals? What are you looking to accomplish? Where do you want to go? How can I support you? Et cetera, et cetera. And to see him go out and do that, that's really exciting. Our receivers coach went along with him, which is cool. Okay. Both of those guys, I love them to death. They're family for life, and they're going off to chase another dream. Awesome. So that creates a space for us to where God can bring us another great coach, because Coach Cooper is a great coach. So we're believing God that we're going to get somebody as good, if not better. I mean, Sean McVay may have a little brother, or Kyle Shanahan, or Ben Johnson from the Lions may have an assistant that or whatever.
The coaching tree.
Yeah, absolutely.
It continues.
Yeah,
right?
so it is whoever that might.
Everyone.
Absolutely. So whoever that might be, really excited about that. We'll be posting those jobs within the next week, doing interviews, and we've got a lot of talented athletes on our offense. So whoever gets that job, they're walking into a heck of a situation. We're talking about a freak show at quarterback, freak show at our receiver. We got 2 or 3 stud receivers. We got a bunch of running backs. We got some young linemen coming up the ranks. Like, this offense was very successful last year. Even though we were 3-6, because of offensive numbers, we were putting up 28, 30 points pretty much every game. And you look at what we were able to do in the first year, obviously incorporate the thing that made us successful last year and moving forward, keep those things that work well, build on, add more to it with the new coach and his chemistry, his creativity, and that kind of thing, our team philosophy. So as you can tell, I'm super excited.
Right.
Super
you guys are
excited.
going to be stronger, meaner, and faster.
Bigger, stronger, meaner.
Okay.
Bigger, stronger, meaner.
Okay.
Bigger, stronger, meaner.
I got you.
Bigger, stronger, meaner.
Okay. No, that is going to be just a great program to follow. And if you're open to work, hit up a guy here.
If you got
That's
offensive coordinating experience, or wide receiver experience, the job will be posted on the Hopkins website. We'll be sharing it out on all of our socials and all that good stuff. I'll be happy to hear you out on how you plan on building a juggernaut of an offense that scores 50 points a game.
At homecoming, I was there. You guys dropped 50.
We had to, man. God dang.
Yeah.
Shoot, that was a barn burner. I forget the exact score. It was like 57-51. It was like nobody's defenses decided to show up that night.
No.
But I'll be honest, as the head coach, I'm losing my mind. So if you go left brain, right?
Yes.
Right brain, I want to say I was losing my mind because I'm like,
Sure.
dude, defense, what the heck, right? So
Right.
we're trying to do everything we can to adjust, everything we can to slow this team down. We could not do it. And thank God our offense was humming like no, that was a school record.
Right, 57-50.
Yeah, some crap.
Yeah, that's
ridiculous.
Yeah.
57-50.
Yeah.
What is this?
Right.
So it was so my right brain as a coach is like, oh my God, I'm freaking out. We need to
Right.
stop this. We need to figure this out.
Right.
Left side, I'm like, dude, hey, where's the popcorn at?
Right.
That was fun, man.
This is fun.
Yeah, it's over and over again. So our stud receiver, Jaden Moore, to plug him real quick, he just got another Division I offer from the University of Iowa yesterday. That was dope.
Congrats.
Yep, so he's got one from University of Minnesota. Now he's got one from Iowa. And I'm sure there's going to be more coming.
More Big Ten
Yeah.
coming through. And,
Yep. And you already know what he's
Ohio State.
I'm saying.
Right.
He's on the radar now, and that's just, again, a testament to what we're doing.
Absolutely.
We've had some good athletes in the past come through Hopkins, but not for a very long time from a recruiting standpoint. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
From the football team. We have Baye Mafe, who plays for the Seattle Seahawks right now. He's a defensive end.
Awesome.
He's a Hopkins alum.
Hopkins
So
alum.
there's some kids, that's come through the program, but not a ton, especially not very recently.
Mm-hmm.
So to have a kid who's getting Division I attention from University of Minnesota, University of Iowa, our stud left tackle, who's a senior, he graduated. His name's Nathan Dobbs. He's got a Division II offer that he's accepted. So a lot of the right things are happening, bro.
That's awesome.
A lot of the right things. We're not where we want to be.
Sure.
We've got a long way to go,
For sure.
But every day, one foot in front of the other, man. We're grinding. We're looking forward to being that powerhouse program that we're trying to build and to serve our kids. I mean, kids like Nathan, he's had to work his butt off, as a left tackle to get those skills, to get that scholarship, and we were able to help him a little bit with some of the wins and also the coaching, helping refine his skills and that kind of thing, helping with exposure. Our social media department.
Sure.
Her name's Kelly Casper. She's our vice president. She's a ninja. Just
That's
ridiculous. Awesome. I don't know. She's a robot. She does,
awesome.
She does so much.
Swiss
but
Army.
all that, man.
All that.
Like anything and everything you can name for an invaluable piece to the machinery that we got going on. Mm-hmm. She's that. And with social media, we did a great job with that to get our kids out there a little bit more. We had a brother who was the brother of one of our coaches. He has a production studio and company that does all our videography and photography. So a lot of the reels and the stuff that you've seen, great. Go to our Instagram and just look at all the reels and videos. That's all him. To plug him, that's the Penn Avenue Productions.
Penn Avenue.
Penn Avenue Productions, Penn, like Penn in Minneapolis.
Yep.
Penn Avenue Productions, amazing videography work. Oh my God.
That's great.
And he did a 10-minute video recap of our season. Amazing. So just a combination of all those things, man. Like I said, we got the foundation together. You know, we're not where we want to be, but we've got a great media outlet. We've got great social media presence building. You know, we've got a great group of kids. We've got a great coaching staff. We got great support from the administrative side, you know, AD and that kind of thing.
That's
Booster
so
Club
important.
is there. You know, we're building, man. So we get bigger, stronger, meaner. You know, we get some more kids out. You know, we be disciplined. We hit that weight room. We're on our way, man.
That's what's up. That's awesome. We'd love to see that. Bigger, stronger, meaner.
Yep,
That's
bigger,
what
stronger, meaner.
I love it. I love it. So, Jim, we got to get you out here, man. I went to the homecoming game. I had a blast. You know, the families are great out in Hopkins. Very welcoming environment.
Oh, yeah.
So I definitely want to thank my brother here, Coach Chauncy Williams-Barefield, for, you know, having me as a guest for the homecoming. And I'm definitely going to make that like an annual trip.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
And, you know, and we could take it up to the next level next year. We can give y'all sideline access.
Absolutely.
You know, do the whole thing. You can do interviews before the game. If you want to interview me, the kids, or,
we'll interview
you know,
before the
like
game.
do the whole thing.
Yep.
Like, we can make it a thing for real. And then my
absolutely.
buddy, like I said, Penn Avenue Productions, he can do the video too.
Yeah.
So he can
We
tie
can
it all
collab.
together, collaborate on it, get him.
We'll be in that.
We can make it a whole thing.
Absolutely.
That'd be fun.
That'd be definitely fun. Okay, so Jim, looking forward to. I know we're taking a quick pivot here. College football. I know we were talking a lot of high school. Now we kind of nice little transition. We're talking about scholarships, and that's awesome to hear that. You know, Iowa, Minnesota. What was the D2 school?
Shoot, I think I want to say South Dakota. I'm so
Okay,
sorry.
not to put you on the spot.
I'm
South
on the spot. Yeah,
Dakota.
I think
Okay,
it's I think it's South Dakota.
Okay, cool. We can plug it on the Instagram
Yeah,
post.
yeah.
That's
I'll get it to you.
Okay, that's totally fine. Totally fine. And talking about the college football playoff.
Yeah.
We had some great games. I know it was Texas, Ohio State last night. It went down to like the final 2 minutes. And then there was obviously that huge stupid score. You know, defense does win that game. Ohio State moves on. They play Notre Dame.
Yeah.
And Notre Dame survived Penn State.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, I mean, Penn State, they tried their best to pull that game out, but too many mistakes. Too many mistakes by Drew L.R. with that interception. It's tough because, you know, you want to see the Big Ten, but you already got a Big Ten school now with Ohio State making it. So Ohio State, Notre Dame, I'll open it up. What are your thoughts for this national championship that will be on Martin Luther King Day?
Man, listen, I number one, I'm excited about it.
Sure.
I think it's some great storylines in there. You know, you had Ryan Day, who was getting dang near crucified.
Absolutely getting crucified.
Over one loss or two losses or whatever.
Well, he did lose the game.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, and that's kind of where I'm spinning it, is that his roster is so stacked.
Okay.
Coming into the game, I would say just off of roster to roster, it shouldn't be close. Ohio State's got so much talent, it doesn't make any sense. Like, he got the ninth grader, the freshman wide receiver, Smith,
right.
going absolutely bananas as a true freshman.
Right.
That's just one example of how much talent they have. So coming into the game, you would look at the roster to roster comparison and say, the amount of blue chippers Ohio State has versus what Notre Dame has, it shouldn't be really a close game.
No.
And Notre Dame, yes, they did win, but they didn't exactly run away with that game either.
They didn't.
They had to fight, scratch, and claw.
They did.
And make the fewest amount of mistakes to get that win. It wasn't like they boat raced their way to a win. So
exactly.
That's kind of this big picture. Now, looking at it, there is a such thing as culture and momentum. Marcus Freeman got them boys playing at Notre Dame, and they are full of belief. You know, I feel like Ohio State is more kind of riding on our talent. We're just better than you. I think Notre Dame is kind of coming from a place where we're the underdogs. We're being looked down on. Nobody expects us to be here. Even Brian Kelly left because he said we can't win championships at Notre Dame. That's why he went to LSU. Even the last coach said we can't win here.
Right.
So there's a lot of that momentum riding with Notre Dame, saying kind of like the Lions, where we're just Notre Dame. Nobody loves us. Nobody cares about us. Us against the world. That whole mindset.
Right.
And they're tough. They're blue collar. They hit. They run the ball. They coming downhill on defense. Like, this is a game that
to the ball. Right.
there's a game. It's a game where if Ohio State comes in feeling like we're the better team, we should just walk in here and win, I think they could get upset by Notre Dame.
Absolutely.
I think they can get upset. So I don't know if we're doing predictions quite yet, but that's just kind of my big picture view of the game at this point. You got the super duper talented team that's kind of like the main attraction, so to speak. The hot girl at the party.
Right.
And then you got the blue collar team.
Yep.
Okay, that's coming in.
Right.
Ready to knuckle up.
Exactly.
They want to make it a street fight. They want to make it ugly. They want to make it grimy. They want to make it physical, and they want to just impose their will on Ohio State and win the game that way. Right. So from that standpoint of styles making fights, it's a great opportunity for Notre Dame to pull the upset off.
Absolutely. Jim, I know you're in Detroit. What better way to segue, in talking about like, it's going to be a gritty game, and just realizing what you've seen so far from both these teams, Ohio State and Notre Dame. What is your reaction in realizing this is going to be for the national championship?
It's going to be a great game. It all comes down to who can make the less turnovers, who can stay healthy, who can and who can't. You watch the Notre Dame game, they got bailed out at the end of the game with Penn State throwing that pick. You watch Ohio State, they bailed out with the pick. It's going to come down to who's going to win, who's going to make the least amount of mistakes. And as much as Ohio State is, like Coach Chauncy said, is the hot girl at the party, hey, if you believe all those movies, look at the person who everyone thinks isn't. You're going to sweep your feet off. So let's go Notre Dame. Let's go Fighting Irish. The only time I root for them is college football, so let's go Notre Dame.
Absolutely. Just to jump in real quick, one thing that I learned early in my football days and coaching days, and I still preach it to this day, and my team probably can say amen to this, is more games are lost than won. More games are lost than won. Beating yourself with turnovers, penalties, making the costly mistake. Typically, that's the team that ends up losing. Pivoting quickly back to the Kansas City Chiefs real quick.
Sure.
People are saying, oh, they're not that good. They're getting lucky. No, well, there is a such thing as being poised in the right moments and not making the critical mistakes. And that's what I think happened with Penn State. They lost the game. They were in position multiple times to take momentum and put the game out of reach, and they gave up the turnovers. They made some kind of weird play call where they had to punt and things like that. They end up losing the game for themselves versus more than Notre Dame beating them. So kind of going into this game with Ohio State, that's where if Notre Dame were to pull the upset, they're going to definitely have to play that game because they can't give Ohio State any extra possessions. They can't give them short fields. They have to do all those things right and not lose the game in order for them to be successful. Because if they do have some early struggles, some early turnovers, things like that, Ohio State's and all their firepower, this can get out of hand real fast. And then Notre Dame is not built to play from behind. Their passing game is not their strength. Their running game, defense, keeping the game close, those kind of things. They've been really good at not losing the game, making the right plays, not having costly penalties. So that's a big key to this to kind of pivot. But that's a great point you made, is that if they want to win the game, they got to make sure that they don't end up losing the game.
Absolutely. I would definitely agree with that. With just watching Notre Dame and Ohio State, this is definitely like going to be that situation. I know you guys say it's like the hot girl at the party. Everybody's looking at Ohio State. Oh, they're riding a huge high right now. 3-game winning streak ever since Plantgate. Planting the flag. So ever since that, they've been able to dispose of Tennessee. They were able to get past. They got past Texas, and now they're looking into the national championship. If they're able to finish off the deal right now in regards to getting it to the point that Ryan Day is no longer in the hot seat, and everybody was talking about hey, this was basically hand-picked. This is a hand-picked Ohio State team where basically they got their star wide receiver. They got Will Howard from Kansas State. they got all these studs. They got all these future NFL draft picks.
They got
They're gonna be
Chip
playing
Kelly
on Sundays.
and offensive coordinator too.
Their offensive coordinator,
Chip Kelly.
Yep.
That's a massive hire that a lot of people aren't talking about enough. Chip Kelly he's one of my inspirations early in my coaching career, watching him way back in New Hampshire days when he was back there. Then obviously we did at Oregon, then he went to Philadelphia Eagles, went to San Francisco. Right. He revolutionized offensive football. Chip Kelly did. Rich Rodriguez and Chip Kelly really exploded the scene with the spread offense, tempo, zone read option, bubble screens, RPOs. That's all Chip. That's all Rich Rodriguez going back to the late 90s, early 2000s.
Sure.
So just kind of looking at them having, also he was the head coach at UCLA.
Yep.
Dynamic offenses there, even with the lack of talent.
Right.
So you put somebody like that on a staff, and then you put him as an offensive coordinator where he can only focus on the offense, massive. So like you said, yeah, that's why I keep saying Ohio State, it's really them. The pressure's on Ohio State. Notre Dame is playing with house money. Nobody expected Notre Dame to make it this far, first off.
No.
Second off, for Notre Dame, again, with their limitations with the passing game and how they have to play, everybody's looking at them as an underdog, and they're not going to be able to keep up in the scoring race, match firepower with firepower. So I think the pressure is really on Ohio State. That's where, if I'm looking at it objectively, they've got the weight of the world on their shoulders to go out and perform and win this championship. Because if they don't, like you said, with everything that they got stacked in the deck,
right,
and also their NIL, I think is top 1 or 2 in the country for what they paid out NIL money. So they've got the highest salary cap.
Yes.
Let's just call it what it is.
Sure.
They got the highest. They're the Yankees.
They're
the Dodgers.
Right.
We've got all this money invested in players and coaches.
Sure.
We've got the superstar coaching staff. We've got the best wide receiver maybe in college football as a freshman, potentially.
Yep.
You got all these freaks of nature on defense. It's like they got it all going on.
They got it all, right.
They got to show up and perform.
Right. And this is kind of like almost like a made for, I guess almost like a Hollywood movie in regards to Marcus Freeman used to play linebacker at Ohio State. So back in, this is.
That I didn't know.
Yeah, this is like a storyline that I did not know until like recently. I was just like, okay. So he was there from 2006 to 2008, I think. He did play alongside James Laurinaitis.
Yeah, I remember him, but I didn't remember Marcus Freeman.
Yeah, Marcus Freeman, yeah. But James Laurinaitis and Marcus Freeman, they were part of that linebackers corps at Ohio State.
Yeah.
Now, Marcus Freeman, head coach of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, is going to be taking on his alma mater, Ohio State. So, the storylines line up, and even last night with Jack Sawyer, strep sack on Quinn Ewers, they were roommates in their freshman years.
Get out.
Yeah, it's just like you can't. Some of this stuff is just kind of eerie.
Seriously.
Yeah.
And another storyline is African American head coach. First African American head coach to be playing in the national championship game.
Right.
Ever.
Yeah.
And he's at Notre Dame of all schools.
Right.
Which has been known as being a very conservative, very heavy on the faith and all that stuff.
Absolutely.
Hard to get into.
Yes.
For him to be doing it as a black coach as well as doing it at Notre Dame, that's a heck of a situation there too, from a storyline standpoint as well as just what he's been able to accomplish.
Absolutely. And this game will be on MLK Day.
Get out.
Just to top it off. Yeah. Just to top
storyline on top of storyline.
Yeah, storyline on top of storyline. I love it. Okay, so Marcus Freeman just doing huge things for the African American community, and he's huge on his faith too. So I love that. This is a great storyline going into the national championship. You got Notre Dame, you got Ohio State. When I thought about this, I was like, all right, this is probably like the best matchup, and I think we truly got the best matchup. I know this is like the first year with the playoff, but I feel like truly this is the best matchup. We got two teams that were able to survive throughout this whole bracket.
Yep.
And the fact that Notre Dame, they started at home against Indiana, and everybody was saying, well, this jumpstart Indiana team, they might be able to, spark an upset. But then Notre Dame, obviously, they went on to New Orleans. We know what happened in New Orleans, the tragedy before, and then they pull it off against Georgia. Georgia was, they're the big dogs in regards to like, oh, it's an SEC team. Notre Dame's an independent school. And then for them to be able to go up against, again, Penn State and be able to survive that. And obviously, they were able to capitalize on those mistakes that Penn State had. But then you're looking at Ohio State and what they've been able to do in regards to being able to survive and be able to progress into this playoff. They started at home, Tennessee. They were able to take care of business there. SEC school that was pounding the table to get into the playoff, and that's how you show up. So yeah, that it does give us like some time to reflect on this playoff format, but then also seeing what happened with the Big Ten. Big Ten had a lot of playoff. Basically, they had a lot of playoff teams, but then Oregon was number one. They were undefeated all year, and then they got roasted like a duck.
Dude.
I
didn't see that coming.
Yeah, I did not either. I thought it was going to be maybe like a part two of the first matchup, and we didn't get that. We got roasted Oregon Ducks all game. And shout out to Ohio State being able to impose their will in that game, because I think they broke Oregon. And the fact, this is another storyline on top of storyline here. You know how the Pac-12 is still in existence, even though there's only two teams.
It's crazy.
It's Oregon State and Washington State.
Yeah.
Check this: Oregon State, their rival, the Civil War, they got paid $50 million to watch Oregon get roasted.
Wow.
Yeah, this is the Rose Bowl contract. Yep.
Crazy.
Yeah. So
I'll take that deal. Hey, if you want to bring Hopkins football out to watch somebody get roasted, $50 million, we'll be able to bless a lot of kids, build a great program. Come on, holler at me.
Right. We got the taglines. That's awesome. But yeah, like with all that being said, Ohio State being able to get into the national championship and being able to fulfill that, because like they had to go 3-0. They were able to go 3-0. They were able to take care of Texas. A lot of people were saying, "Oh, Texas SEC team, first time they're gonna go. There's gonna be Texas versus Notre Dame." We didn't get that. We got the Big Ten, and then everybody almost wants to say that Notre Dame is like a Big Ten school, but they're still independent.
Right.
But then Marcus Freeman was pissed off because I believe James Franklin made a comment about, "Oh, they're an independent school. How can we really weigh their success?" And I think that it's almost kind of like you're waking up the beast inside somebody, and especially someone coming from a Big Ten school, and you hear that from the opposing coach.
Yep.
Yeah, it's lovey-dovey, during the press conference, he's talking about his hairline, all that, but it's like, Marcus was just not going.
There was a lot of gamesmanship
Absolutely.
that was going on from Coach Franklin. I think that he was trying to get in Marcus's head a little bit and maybe get his team focused on the wrong things. Because there's a such thing as being emotionally invested, and then there's a such thing as being overly emotional. So trying to trigger Marcus a little bit with some of those jabs, he go to his team and get them rah-rahed up and get them all angry, and playing outside of how they typically play would be favorable for Penn State. So Coach Franklin also, I hate to say it, he's 1-15 against top 5 ranked teams. Yeah, he's at Penn State, so he doesn't always have Alabama rosters and stuff. So that's the thing. You have to look at that. Yeah. That's a real thing.
There's academics involved. Right.
That kind of thing. However, your record is your record. 1-15 against top-ranked schools, and then typically those opportunities have come in big games.
It's a red flag.
So that's the thing that they're kind of saying now, is Coach Franklin the right coach?
True.
Can he win the big game?
Right.
We've had these rosters year in, year out. We've had Saquon Barkley. We've had all these talent come through here, and what do we have to show for it? Is he the right guy?
Micah Parsons, right?
Micah Parsons.
Abdul Carter now.
Now, exactly. All these kids. And it happened to both where they're Penn State 11.
Yep.
So all these things are now starting to swirl about him. So that's kind of like the karma of it all. You know, me as a coach, I'm always like, look, even if I do feel some kind of way, I'm always be respectful. I'm always be, you know, kind of ho-hum about everything, keep everything cool, calm, collected.
Absolutely.
On the inside, of what I'm saying to my team might be different, but from an outside standpoint, you're not gonna know how I really feel. Right.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna be professional, you know, politically correct, all that good stuff. Not giving the other team bulletin board material, you know, because now that's flipped. He's talking about how young Marcus was. Oh, look at him. He's so handsome. He's so young. Look at his hair and all this stuff.
Hair, right.
Oh, look what conference they playing. He's taking jab, 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 jab. We go out there, we beat you. Now, your job is in jeopardy. You're talking about my job and my situation now. Now people are questioning you if you should be there.
Right.
So just be humble, man.
Exactly.
Be
Otherwise,
humble.
the
Be
beer
cool.
will shine on you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You know, so that's one thing I've
Be
learned in
humble.
life, and especially in coaching.
Absolutely.
Never look down on another coach or another program, because that could be you, bro.
Exactly.
I've had seasons where I was 1-8. I've had seasons we were rolling and we won 4, 5, 6, 7 games, whatever. Everything's great. You know, I've been in semi-pro where we went to national championship games and we led the league in scoring and all kinds of things. I've had a lot of success. I've also had some down times.
Sure.
So it's easy when you're up to look down, but when you get down, you have to look up. That humble pie don't taste as good.
Absolutely. You know, that is common though in regards to like quick success that builds ego, but actually being able to sustain and build slow success that builds character. Yeah. So
All right, now you're preaching good.
Yeah. You know, I think we just needed to get that warm up in regards to just talking about what college football has done so far this year. You know, with 2025 and looking and beyond, what do you expect? Do you think that this playoff is going to expand? Before we shift topics here, I just want to kind of end with that.
I'm glad you brought it up, because I was going to ask you to butt in here.
Sure.
So here's my 2 or 3 thoughts. Number one, I think the maximum that it should get to is 16.
Okay.
Anything beyond that is just goofy. Maximum, but I do like the 12 that it currently is, because it keeps that accountability on the teams that perform during the season.
Sure.
Like in Alabama.
Right.
You know, you lose 3 games, including one big one that you shouldn't have lost. And you gotta hold that L, bro.
Got to.
The coach and the players. Like, hey, we're a talented team. We're a blue blood school. We're Alabama. But if we don't handle our business, we will be left out.
Can't lose
So
to
I like
Vanderbilt.
that. So
Right.
I don't really want to even go to 16,
Sure.
but 16 will be the max for me. And here's the other thing, dude. This is the elephant in the room. NIL deals need to be 2 years. They should be required
2
to sign a
years.
2-year agreement
Okay.
with the school. If I'm going from University of Minnesota to the University of Wisconsin on the NIL deal, I should be required to stay there for 2 years. I can't sign a contract, because here's what's happening.
Sure.
I switch schools, I
Right.
transfer,
Absolutely.
I get the bread. The season goes bad. I say, screw it. I'm sitting out because I don't want to get hurt. So I'm paying a kid $1 million or whatever I'm paying him.
Right.
And he's not even available towards the end of the season where we need him the most, to where we can try to get into a certain bowl or get into the contention for the playoff or whatever.
Right.
He's not playing due to personal concerns over his health and longevity, which I understand to a degree.
Sure. You see both sides of the coin.
I do, and I'm not saying that's not a real thing. However, if they had a 2-year agreement, now I'm getting the best out of this kid. Also, we're not seeing massive roster changes year to year. Like, Colorado brought in 60-something players from the portal
Right.
in 1 year.
1 year.
NFL rosters are 53. They brought in an entire NFL roster of new kids in one offseason. So that's part of the struggle too, with the quality of the product.
Sure.
If even me as a coach, if you gave me 53 new kids that I had to like play and start and whatever,
Right.
that's a big
Go through the
task.
whole season.
Yeah.
Right.
And again, you know, college you get more time than high school, but
Sure.
that's a lot. Chemistry, timing, all that. You get out to a slow start because you got all these new kids and maybe even new coaches or whatever the case.
Right.
You have a slow start to your season. We're out of contention for the playoff, or we playing in some lower bowl, and then it spirals downhill because now the kids are checked out. Oh, we're not going to go and do nothing. So they check out, they don't play. Now it affects everybody. It affects the school, the coach, his record. opportunities to play in bowl games, endorsements, the whole thing. The whole system gets thrown off because the kids have a 1 year, really a 6-month commitment to each school. If you make them sign a 2-year agreement, hey, we'll give you $2 million. It's $1 million per year. But hey, you got to be here for 2 years. You can't transfer for 2 years. I think that'll fix the whole problem that we're having with NIL and the transfer portal.
I think that's a good proposition because like that kind of solidifies the roster or who's going to be there. Like you're going to have players that are actually committed, not just interested in the program.
Right.
Yep.
And you're going to get the best out of them, which is going to make the team better. If you got 120 kids in the college program and they all going to be there for 2 years, you're going to get the best out of that kid because he wants to now freaking with JUCO, not counting against your eligibility, you can play college football for 6-7 years.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Now it's like NFL. If you want to get the good film out there,
Sure.
So after 2 years, you're not happy with your situation. You want to move on from Michigan and go to, Alabama or Notre Dame or whatever. You've got 2 years of good film. You can go and have your agent or whoever is handling your business,
Sure.
proposition them. Yeah, we want to bring Johnny over here. This is what we're looking for.
Yep.
Here's his tape. But if you got 3-4 games of Johnny's best effort, Johnny plays half-heartedly pulling a George Pickens.
Yeah.
Because he ain't happy.
Right, he's not happy.
And then all of a sudden he shuts it down for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Everybody's losing.
Everybody's losing, right?
You're not putting good film out there. You're not having good team success. The portal itself is going to be murky because how do I properly evaluate you on 3-4 games if you give me your best effort?
Right.
Who'd you play during that time? In the beginning of the season, you're playing, typically warm-up games, South Dakota State and stuff like that, and
Right.
whatever. Not putting them down, but
University of Louisiana Monroe.
yeah.
Right,
I'm not putting nobody down, but you got
not putting anybody down, but you're
Yeah,
not
you got-
playing like the Ohio States, the
correct.
Michigan.
They usually play
Right.
them in the middle or the end of the season for a reason. So you're playing your best ball. You're in your groove.
Right.
If we got those kids in the beginning of the season, things will go great, and they shut down or they're half invested. We're not playing our best. It just makes everybody lose. It's a lose for everybody. 2 years. 2 years, best effort, best attitude, commitment. I'm trying to put the best film out there. I'm going to be busting my tail off, in the winter, spring, during the season, off season, for 2 straight years. I want to make sure either I do the best I can and I can go and be draft ready, or if I'm not draft ready yet, move on to the next program, find my next opportunity, get 2 more years of $1 million a year. I'm making $3-4 million as a 21, 22-year-old kid playing the game I love. Who loses? It's a win-win for everybody.
It's a win-win for everybody. I would
2
agree
years.
with that. Okay. I like that proposition. Yeah, Jim, any thoughts on that in regards to NIL 2-year minimum that we're talking about?
Oh no, I love it because you can't, as Coach saying, that you can't just go out 1 year if you don't like it, shut yourself down. You're gonna get bad. It forces the player to actually have to raise his own draft stock, or raise his value for the next team. Because if word goes out there, and this is just me having the privilege of playing college sports, never had this opportunity for NIL, but I understand that you're not just playing for the team, you're not playing for the school, you're playing for yourself. And you're looking to get that next step, you're making sure you're trying to get that win. And in a year, not even a year, days. It takes days to ruin your reputation. It takes days for anything to go out there and be detrimental to your character. It's going to shy teams off. So a 2-year minimum, it lets the player get year under his belt and gets him the ability to, maybe they learn the scheme. Maybe the next year they get better when they bring in a new person, and that kid wants to stay longer. The 1-year NIL deals, I've said this before on the podcast, I hate NIL. I hate it so much. I think it ruined the game. It's just, I hate NIL. But I think a 2-year minimum would be a good start to making it better.
The big change now with NIL is it's no longer amateur sports. It's professional sports.
Professional sports. Yeah.
So now these are professionals. So that'd be like everybody in NFL signing 1-year contracts.
It would be an
You gotta
agent's
start-
dream because every year,
Oh, for sure.
yeah, you're getting the bigger, badder deal. but I feel like the product is going to diminish because like you're just going to get players that are just going to be like, oh, I'm a rental player. I'm just here, make my splash, make my money, and I'm gone.
Right.
And I think that is, I guess, like the biggest battle right now for college football fans is that, yes, you romanticize college football, but you're not going to go back to that time where players are committed for those 4 or 5 years, staying at one school. Those days are gone. I'm sorry, but that's the reality. Those days are gone. But I feel like with the NIL, there's still positivity to it because like you remember stories like Reggie Bush, you remember stories like Vince Young, you remember stories like in regards to, I know that I'm blanking on his name, but this Michigan State player was raising his entire family.
Oh yeah,
because his mother passed away. Yep. Yeah, and like those are the stories where I'm rooting for the NIL to continue to help these student athletes be able to provide. Because, like, you know, not only are they helping the university, but they also need to help themselves personally. Because it's not a guarantee. I mean, like, we've seen college stars. I've seen, I believe it was Lattimore for South Carolina. He, like, basically busted his knee right before he got drafted, and he never made the same type of money that he was projecting to make as a running back in the NFL. So just being able to also want to give a quick shout out to Deion Sanders being able to up the insurance for his players to play confidently in the Alamo Bowl. Even though they lost, they were still able to play that game knowing that they're not going to, impact their draft stock. So I feel like it is like a two sides of it, but like I'm on the player side, but then I realize what's coming from the coaches and like overall the university. They want to see that commitment. So it's not just like a transfer portal mania where it's basically just a Royal Rumble of like, hey, everybody just jump into the transfer portal every single offseason and wherever you end up, you end up. So it was just like a free agent frenzy. But I hope college football kind of can clean that up, but it might be on the horizon because I feel like Nick Saban's not going to stay away too long, even though he does a really good job on college game day. But I think he might be making his way back as a commissioner.
One thing I'll say is, I forgot the number, but Google it. There is hundreds of thousands of college athletes that enter the portal and never come out. That's another thing. Hey, the grass is greener. I'm leaving. I'm out.
Right.
I'm going to go in the portal.
Right.
If you don't get picked up, bro, you just stuck it in the ether somewhere.
Right.
You're in purgatory.
Shout out Nas.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You're just stuck in the ether in regards to like you're not getting picked up.
Right.
Like,
So you had an opportunity to play. If you were fully invested and or gave yourself the opportunity to develop, because that's the hard word now, especially with these athletes coming from a coach. A lot of them don't want to know the truth. Hey, man, you're not who you think you are.
Right.
You're not as good as you think you are.
Right.
You can be great. You can get better. But it's going to take time. This is not a microwave situation. You need to put in the time, the effort, and energy to grow. Yeah. And if they're unwilling to do that, whether it be for money purposes or just not being patient, and they say, all right, screw this, I'm out of here, I'm leaving, and you go in a portal and you never come out, that's a real thing.
Absolutely. I just Googled it. So
I
did take your word. So the 2025 college football transfer portal cycle opened on December 9th of 2024 and closed on December 28th in 2024. So the winter transfer portal was a record setter with over 2,600 FBS players entering the portal. So for those 2,600 that entered the portal right before the end of the year, they are going to be trying to figure this out the next few months, because by the time spring ball and time by that point, teams and coaches, they're figuring out their rosters, what it's going to look like going into the fall.
Yeah.
And basically downloading their entire game plans for the year and like how their team's going to look like. But not all 2,600
Yeah.
are going to find a school.
Yeah, I knew it was in the thousands.
Yeah.
I might have misspoke and said hundreds of thousands, but
Yeah.
I'm going to say thousands. There's thousands of kids.
Yeah.
Because, again, let's break it down real quick. So from going from high school to college,
Yes.
1% or less make that jump. So you got whoever, millions of kids across the United States that play football, 1% get to go to college. And then the 1% of college players get drafted. So if you're not in that 1% on both sides of that, and you make that jump to go somewhere else, you're one of them 2,600. If somebody doesn't pick you up, you're stuck. Or you left a pretty good situation. Let's say they gave you $250,000. Oh, I can get more than that. Now you got nothing.
They got nothing, right?
$250,000 for the average American household, especially where a lot of these young men are coming from, dynamics and financial situations.
Right.
Come on, dog.
Come on.
$250,000. You leave it on the table to go try to get more, and you're not taking the advice and counseling of your coaches, maybe even your agent, to be like, hey, bro, let's give it a year.
Right,
give it 2 years.
Give it 2 years.
Hey, how about we do this for 2 years?
Right.
That's a $500,000.
Right. You
And then
invest,
now
right.
you're better. You got a bigger platform, whatever. Then now let's try it, make that move later.
Mm-hmm.
So just saying, man, it's a slippery slope.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that because there's a lot of these kids that are getting money thrown at them fast, and you just want the best for these kids. And yeah, this is the early stages, but just want to put out that word of caution of just like realize that you may be getting those offers today doesn't mean that you're going to get these offers tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah. All right.
Well, now the big question is,
Okay.
before we get off this topic,
Sure.
is do colleges now treat these kids like professionals because they're not amateur anymore? And we mentioned like there are 1-year deals. Do colleges they hire like is Bill Belichick? He comes in, is he going to coach like them? Try to coach like a college coach, or is he going to try to coach like he's coaching the Patriots, where he can threaten players and cut players and tell them that their NIL deal is gone at the end of the year? So, look, it comes down to, are they going to start changing how they act? Instead of throwing this money, they're going to be more cautious to who they're going to get their money to, the best product.
I think the system isn't developed enough really to be able to do that. Because again, how do you properly evaluate a kid that's played 1 year of college football or has coming straight out of high school to say who and what he's going to be accurately? You know, and then again, if he came from, let's say, a bad team or a smaller school, who are they playing against? You know, how many games did he play? Was he fully invested for all the games? It is really the best who he can be. Like, there is a lot of kind of undeveloped processes that are still out there that are making this tough, because there's a number of kids who get signed to NIL deals and they find out, like the one kid who wanted part of his contract to be guaranteed playing time.
Oh, really? Okay, so
Yeah,
you wanted to
I think it was a Florida linebacker.
Florida linebacker. Okay.
Yeah, but he wanted part of his new NIL is to be guaranteed a certain amount of playing time and to be on the field for third down.
Okay.
So this is where it's going.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be.
Hey,
specific.
let's say you're out of an A ranking, A, B, C, D, you're a B linebacker.
Right.
We need depth. Hey, we're offering you $500,000. Yeah, I'm interested, but you got to guarantee me in writing. We got a contract
Right.
that I'm going to be on the field for every third down, even if somebody's better than me.
Sure. Every third down, you're going to put me on there, even if I'm a liability. Right.
Or I'm being a butthead in the locker room,
Sure.
not being coachable, being a cancer to the team. But hey, we got a contract. There's a legal binding contract, and you're gonna put me on the field on third down. So no matter what I'm doing, whether I'm working out, if I'm going to class, if I'm being respectful, if I'm being a good teammate, if I'm actually the right player for that situation, that position, we got a contract. So that goes along with 1 year.
Right.
Well, if you want me for that 1 year, I'm gonna bend you over the barrel. But if they had to stay for 2 years, it'd be like, okay, I can't do that.
Right.
I got to actually earn my spot, actually compete. I have to work hard. That's another thing that we're hearing. If you go back and look, a lot of the frustration from coaches is like, again, I'm not getting the best from these kids. They're lazy. They're not coming in with that same dog, that same energy, the effort, that commitment. They're not putting that in because they know just based on my profile and my platform, I'm about to get this money. So if you want me, you got to pay me, and we'll see what I do once you give me that money.
Right.
You know.
Like you mentioned earlier, you know, you get that George Pickens result. Where
What you gonna do? Not play me?
You're just gonna crash out and not play me? What? Okay, then I'm just going to be on the sideline.
Right. Getting
Yeah.
his bread and being a cancer,
Yep, exactly.
being a distraction to the
Being a
team.
distraction, right. All right. So I know that's heavy on the NIL. A lot to look forward to. I know USC Miller Moss, he opted out and is going to be jumping into the transfer portal. That'll be interesting to see where he lands. Maybe we got other quarterbacks. Connor Wigman, I think, left Texas A&M, and then also we got Dylan Theinman. And then just wrap it up with Dane Key. So those are just some of the notable names: Xavier Gray, Jordan White for offensive line. But just to kind of wrap up here in regards to college football, a lot to look forward to in the new year. I know Minnesota, they definitely had a good showing in the Duke Mayo Bowl. PJ Fleck, what could have been if they won against Penn State? Don't know. You get into the college football playoff, get hot. You never know. We'll never know this year, but that could be something that where Minnesota needs to aspire, because it, like we talked about, it could expand to 16. So we'll put this topic to bed. We'll talk about the NFL playoffs.
Let's get it.
It's kicking off. We got Chargers, Texans, and we got Steelers, Ravens, and then for Sunday, we got Bills, Broncos, Eagles, Packers, Bucks, Commanders, and Rams and Vikings.
Monday, yeah.
Yeah, Monday. So we got a triple.
I am excited. Yeah. I'm like a kid in a candy store.
Right.
I cannot wait.
Okay.
What a time to be alive.
Yes, what a time to be alive. Amen. Amen. So let's start with Chargers, Texans. So we got Justin Herbert and C.J. Stroud, two young quarterbacks facing off. Both have seen some early success. I feel like the Chargers had a better second half. So going into this game, I believe the Chargers are favored. They've been able to run the ball. The Texans haven't been able to run the ball. That's been kind of the story of their season, not being able to protect C.J. Stroud. I think one of the most sacked quarterbacks, I mean, maybe behind Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about Caleb Williams a little bit later. Oh, the fans at Chicago they did him dirty. But we'll talk about the playoffs right now. With C.J. Stroud and Justin Herbert, we got Nico Collins on one side and Quentin Johnson. I mean, so talented wide receivers, but I still feel like right now the Chargers have the edge in regards to the way that they're coming together as a team, and their defense is very impressive. That's going to be in Houston, division winner, even though the Chargers ended with a better record. And that's going to be the theme throughout the whole wild card. You're going to see some records where it's just going to be like, oh, they're on the road? Okay. But with Chargers, Texans, your thoughts, Coach?
I feel, number one, I'm a big C.J. Stroud fan ever since Ohio State. So I just knew he was going to be successful. Sure. They have regressed as an offense. Losing Tank Dell 2 years in a row, massive. He was their deep threat,
huge.
Utility guy like your Xavier Worthy, kind of Tyreek Hill. Like, we can get him quick screens. He can make big plays, go downfield, taking that top off the defense, backing the defense up. So without his presence, we can just double Nico and just kind of live with whatever else. Right. So that makes it difficult for the offense, because now the defense is playing kind of top down on you.
Top down on you. Yep.
Offensive line-wise, Texans struggle to protect CJ, and the Chargers are coming in with a top 5 defense, and you got one of the best pass rushers in the league with Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa.
Yeah.
So you got Derwin James covering the tight end, and on the back end, again, double cover Nico. I think the Texans are going to struggle offensively. One of the big successes last year was the running game. That hasn't been a story this year, to kind of keep that balance, make teams play, kind of 50-50 versus run versus pass. So now you're kind of coming in like, hey, we're not really concerned with the run. We'll kind of just sell out to the pass. I think the Texans are going to struggle offensively. They're also soft against the run. The Texans get 1 million sacks. They have a great pass rush, but they are not good against the run. Chargers going to run the ball. They're going to play that Jim Harbaugh. That's my boy. That's my coach.
Yeah. Yep.
Back from the Niners.
Yep.
So I've been following him since the Niners, all the way to Michigan, and now back to the NFL. You're going to play Jim Harbaugh football. They're going to run that ball. They're going to play action past you. They're going to not beat themselves. They're not going to make mistakes. It's going to make it a physical football game. And with them having a super good defense and pass rush, with the Texans struggling offensively in pass protection and not being able to stop the run, Chargers.
Who's got better? Like, what did he say? Who's got it better than us?
I know, right?
Right.
Who got it better than us? Nobody.
So Jim, your thoughts on Texans Chargers?
Coach said it very well. I think the Chargers are going in much better, on a better playing field. They're coming in with the momentum. Houston, they're struggling. They've been struggling the past few games. Look at Christmas.
Oh, yeah, the
Even
Christmas
the week
game
before
against
that.
Baltimore. Yep.
Yeah, they got blasted.
Yo.
2 points. So they've been struggling. Yeah, they got the home field advantage. But it's hard to root for a team that is struggling, even though they have great players. Don't get me wrong; they have athletes, they have stars, they have the names. They're not performing up to fully task. So I think Chargers are going to win this one. I think it could still be a close game, but give me Chargers 21-14.
21-14. Okay. You want to do picks? I mean, we might as well just do picks.
Picks and score too?
Yeah, we do picks and score.
I'm saying Chargers like 28-17.
Okay, that's feasible. I'm going Chargers as well. I can't see a way that the Texans, even though love D'Amico Ryans and what he's done there so far, is just losing Stephon Diggs and talking about Tank Dell being like a route merchant where he's able to really open up that offense. I know that they were waiting for Nico Collins, but right when they got Nico Collins, Tank Dell went down. So I think that kind of shuts down their operations. I got Chargers winning this handily. I think they win 31-10.
Dang.
Yeah, I feel like they put their they pin their ears back, and then they get ahead early, and then they really attack this offensive line. I hope C.J. Stroud makes it a better game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like the Chargers are just a better matchup for the Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right, let's go to the nightcap. This is probably going to be my favorite. This is the Harbaugh Saturday kickoff. We're doing Steelers versus Ravens.
Okay.
Who's got it better than us?
Nobody.
All right, so we got Steelers Ravens. This is the third matchup. It was 1-1, so this is the rubber game. Who's going to win the season series? And this is the first time that Baltimore is actually hosting the Steelers for a playoff game. And shout out to my cousin who's actually going to be at the game.
Dope.
Here, I'll show you the picture here of my actual cousin here. But as we continue to talk here, in regards to the Steelers, we got Russell Wilson, a lot of questions there. I think they extended him, right?
He's on a 1-year deal.
He's on a 1-year deal.
Oh,
I thought
1 year.
They're not really looking to draft anybody though, in regards to.
They're gonna be drafting high. They're another playoff team.
Well, yeah, they're gonna be drafting.
They're not gonna be in the top 15.
They'll be in the top 25.
No.
Yeah. So it's tough to get it. A stud per se.
Right.
It's always the outlier guys.
Yeah.
Lamar. 32 pick in the draft.
Because they're going to the game.
Oh, he's flagged out.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. He's suited and booted.
I feel it. He doing it right.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
doing it right.
Yeah,
1,000%.
Yeah. But in regards, I think with Steelers and Ravens going into this game, expect smash mouth, everything we were expecting for an AFC North. It's going to be a war out there. There's no Zay Flowers, so that's maybe one point of concern, right? Because he's their Pro Bowl, All-Pro wide receiver, but they still have Lamar Jackson. I think Lamar Jackson needs to maybe slow down talking about winning a Super Bowl. Let's get through this game first, because he's talking about he's going to switch his jersey number to number 1 if he wins. Yeah, you didn't hear that?
Uh-uh.
Yeah, he said he's gonna switch from 8 to the number 1, and he said that he was having a conversation with his father about this, and he said that once he wins the Super Bowl, he wants to win one, obviously in his 8 jersey, but then once he wins it, he said that he wants to have that number 1 jersey and he wants to retire both number 8 and number 1. I'm like, okay, but we'll see. It will be the first step towards that for Lamar Jackson in this game, and he's been in some tough games in regards to facing the Steelers, and I think it was earlier this year. It was like his first game that he actually played the Steelers as a starting quarterback in Baltimore. So I know it's kind of strange to think about, but like he would get those nagging injuries. But now actually seeing Lamar being able to stay healthy and play the Steelers the full season, I think this is a great way to kind of like jump into this matchup. What I'm seeing right now though, with Lamar going up against the Steelers defense, I got to go advantage Lamar all the way.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like he has something to prove going into this game, because I know the Steelers are probably saying like, hey, we know the book on Lamar, we know how to stop him. And same thing I think with having Derrick Henry. This is the reason why you paid Derrick Henry for these playoff games, January football.
Man, listen, I'm so fired up about this topic. This is a topic that I've been really ahead of going all the way back to last year. Okay. So can we go back to last year?
Sure, we can go back last year.
Real quick, and I'm not going to go on as too big of a soapbox.
Okay.
Like you said, as a coach and a football nerd, I was so upset. I don't have a dog in the fight. I don't care about the Ravens like that.
Sure.
I love Lamar, don't get me wrong. But they're not my team.
Right.
My team is the 49ers, and my second team is the Vikings. So,
right.
But I'm watching as a football person.
Sure.
Them play against the Chiefs in an AFC Championship game. I believe it was at home. And they rushed the ball 10 times. That's egregious.
Yep.
That is errors. That is malpractice of coaching and scheming.
Absolutely.
All year, I think they were number 1 rushing offense, if I'm not mistaken, in the whole league. Ravens were.
Yes.
And you get to the biggest game, biggest moment, and you go away from what you do. So I said, out of my mouth, I said to a number of people who know me, I can get quotes. If I was the Ravens, I would go get Derrick Henry, because they were already talking about Tennessee, training over and everything. They didn't, he was kind of over the hill, whatever.
Right.
I literally said, and I'm not trying to be, hyperbolic here.
Sure.
If I was them, I would go get Derrick Henry. The reason why, that will force everybody to commit to the run, no matter what, because you got a horse like that in the backfield.
Oh, yeah.
As a coach, you got to feed that horse.
You got to feed that horse, right.
In Derrick's career, and Derrick Henry's career,
yes,
in games where he's got the ball 20 times or more, his win percentage is like 80+%. For his career, even with Tennessee.
Even with Tennessee, right.
Okay.
They didn't have the greatest quarterback play.
And everybody knew it.
Yeah.
So he's getting 8-9 people in the box, and he's still pulling out wins in huge numbers, as we know,
right,
with Tennessee year after year. So I'm like, well, I got Lamar, who's a superstar.
Yes.
Let's get him a dynamic running back that's going to force defenses to not sell out to stop Lamar.
Right.
That's what the Chiefs did.
Yep.
Oh, y'all don't want to run the ball? Okay, we're going to contain Lamar. We're going to put 8 people in coverage. Right. Go ahead, have fun with that.
Yep.
And they struggle.
Struggle.
Fast forward now. This year, Derrick Henry has 1,900 yards. I want to say 1,964 yards.
Yep.
Rushing, with 15 touchdowns at 30+ years old.
Phenomenal year.
Phenomenal year. Going into this game now. If we get into this game, and you said it already, the whole reason they brought Derrick in was for the playoffs. When it's cold outside, right, we're playing outdoors. We got to be able to go against the Chiefs, the Steelers, and the Bills, and all these, even the Bengals. They had a rough year.
Right.
But we got to go against these monsters to get to the Super Bowl.
Right.
There is no cakewalk.
No cakewalk
in the AFC.
No, absolutely not.
So to go through these monsters, we got to get a monster.
Right.
You need a monster to kill a monster. So they went and got the monster, they got the king, and they put him in the backfield. So this is what I'm looking for. 2 seconds. Lamar record against the Steelers is 2-4. Like you said, they literally have the book.
They have the book, yeah.
They have the book on how to slow down and stop Lamar. Yeah. And even when Baltimore beat the Steelers a few weeks ago,
yes,
Lamar wasn't out there blazing them to start the whole game. The Steelers' lack of ability to move the ball and score offensively gave the Ravens a lot of opportunities to continue to get possessions, 3-and-outs and stuff by the Steelers, kept giving them the ball back,
right,
which gave Lamar opportunities to get hot. And then they got hot and they kind of ran away with the game. But my point is, the Steelers know how to stop you.
They do.
You brought Derek in for a reason. Let's talk about Lamar real quick. I'm fired up about this.
No, this is great.
I'm fired up. Lamar is playing freaking Star Wars out there.
Yeah.
40 passing touchdowns, only 4 interceptions. Are you freaking kidding me?
Right.
That's Madden on rookie.
Absolutely. MVP numbers.
Absolutely. Unequivocally.
Yes.
If he does, even though he won it last year,
yeah,
he don't win it this year, it's a travesty.
I would agree.
Josh is doing a great thing in Buffalo.
Doing great things, yeah.
40 touchdowns and 4 interceptions.
Sufficient.
900, dang near 836 yards rushing. Lamar.
Right.
Another 5 touchdowns.
All-time rusher now.
All-time leading quarterback rusher.
Quarterback rusher, yeah.
Quarterback rating is like 120 for the season. He don't win the MVP, it's a problem. So that aside, going back to the game.
Okay, yeah.
Coach Harbaugh, I'm looking at you, bro. Coach Harbaugh, I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you. If you don't be balanced and run the football
right,
to open up Lamar.
Exactly.
Because let's be honest, Lamar has done amazing things. The perfect marriage of Lamar and Derek.
Right.
That's made the field so open and clear for Lamar.
Exactly.
You can't sit back and play 2 high safeties. You can't sit back and play 8-man in coverage. You can't play light boxes and have all these DBs on the field. And you got Derek there.
No.
Even if if the Ravens are not in a big package with tight ends and fullbacks.
Sure.
If they are in 10 personnel with 4 receivers or 11 personnel with 1 tight end, 3 receivers, you cannot be in base defense.
Can't.
Against Lamar and Rashad Bateman and Zay Flowers and Mark Andrews and all the dudes that they got.
Likely, right.
Isaiah Likely.
Yeah.
You can't do it.
Can't do it.
And then you put Derek back there, which is going to make the defense have to commit to the line of scrimmage, give more vanilla-looking coverages, which is going to keep the field wide open and clear for Lamar to do his thing. So this is what I'm looking for.
Okay.
Coach Harbaugh, you got to run the ball 25 to 30 times. You got to do it.
Right.
Lamar may not get 45 passing attempts. He'll get 25 to 30. Perfect balance.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all he needs.
Right, that's all he needs to make a play.
25 to 30 passing attempts, 25, 30 rushes. That's going to get 300-plus yards passing. It's going to be 2, 3, 4 touchdowns. Lamar's going to ad-lib, make plays with his legs. He'll have 50 to 60 yards rushing and maybe a touchdown, and they run away with the game. If they go in there and try to repeat what they did last year and say, this is our MVP quarterback. He's a black quarterback that's athletic, and guess what? He can throw the ball. We're going to show you he can throw it. Right. Watch this.
Right.
They're going to lose.
You don't fall into the trap.
They're going to lose.
Yep.
Steelers now, flipping it. The way the Steelers can win this game is exactly what I said. Stop the run. Make it an ugly game.
Yep.
Make it a grinded out 4-quarter game. Make them play to their
possession.
Make them play their style.
Yep.
And not let Lamar run wild on you. If they come out and say, we're not going to run Derek, they're doing the Steelers a favor.
Oh, huge time.
If I'm the Steelers, what I would do, I would dare the Ravens to run it. I would come out in nickel defenses, dime defenses, first quarter and be like, there you go. That's it right there.
Right. Light box. Right?
What you going to do? Are you going to be smart and take what we're giving you? Mm-hmm. Or are you going to try to force Lamar on us and play into our hand?
Right.
That's what I'm looking for. I feel if the Steelers and Ravens play along the terms that I explained, I think the Ravens win pretty easily. I would go score 31-20. 17, 31, 14 maybe, but a late scorer. Because the Steelers are so limited offensively.
They are.
And then George Pickens, you don't know where his mind is.
Yeah, we don't know.
You know, you got Russ, who's
plan.
not playing bad, but he's not playing great to where he can overcome the limitations that they have.
Right.
You know, he's a game manager type, but he's not getting a lot of help around him. The running game is not great this year. They're one of the worst rushing teams in the league. The Pittsburgh Steelers, the Steel Curtain, the Terrible Towel is one of the worst rushing teams in the league. And then you got an average quarterback, average weapons. George Pickens is the only one.
Right.
It's tough to score. That's been their problem. So if they are allowed to stay in the game and make it ugly, and it's not a fireworks show, I say Steelers advantage. If the Ravens run the ball, especially early, establish that line of scrimmage, and let those defenses start paying attention a lot to Derek, and then let Lamar just pick them apart, Ravens win big. So I am, as you can see, I done spent 6 minutes talking about this nonstop. I cannot wait to be in my basement with that on the screen and just watch this unfold and see what the coaches are going to do.
Football cinema, right? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So, Jim, with all that being said.
All that being said.
Who's got better than us?
No!
All right, well, we talked a lot about Lamar. Let's go to the other side of the ball. Let's go to Russell Wilson.
Mr. Unlimited?
Russell, he started the Steelers started the year hot. They started the year going. They were on the move to do everything right. They looked like they were going to go for the number one seed. They looked like they were going to win the AFC North. They looked like they were going to be the team to be like, oh, this is a surprise team. Well, look what happened. They started falling off. Wilson started to go and be Russell Wilson. You got Justin Fields from the Bears. He hasn't done much for you guys. So when it comes down to it, yeah, they're a 10-16 or they're a 10-win plus team. They're not playing like it. And the last few games, it looked like they were just like, we're in. We're gonna go through the motions. We don't need to worry about these games, and I think that's gonna come back and haunt them. So, it's just tough. I mean, I think Lamar, he's good. Henry, he's good. You go to any of their tight ends, they're good. I think I saw a stat on ESPN that they're like ranked 1 and 2 and 3 tight ends when 2 tight ends are on the field. They're ranked 1 and 2. The Ravens are in like 2 out of 3 categories. When you look at the Steelers, are like ranked in the top 5 for 1, and they're in the top 20s for the other 2. It's gonna come to the quarterbacks, and I don't think Russell Wilson has it anymore. So I'm gonna go Baltimore. I gotta go Baltimore in this game.
Okay. Yeah, like that's. Are you gonna throw a score out there?
Let me go in 31-10.
All right. I think everyone's everyone's staying on the same wavelength here. Like the only way that I could see the Steelers win this game is special teams and defense takes over, and that's if the Justin Tucker misses a couple field goals.
That's possible.
That's possible because he's definitely been seeing ghosts out there. And same thing with the defense. The defense has been giving up a lot of big plays, so that could be a concern too. But I know with the way that the Steelers and Ravens match up, I feel like those plays will be limited. But if Russell Wilson is able to find Calvin Austin for a deep threat, that could definitely open it up where, Pittsburgh could potentially win like a 20-17 kind of game.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm seeing right now and everything that, like, I think the body work of how the Steelers kind of melted down in like the second half of the season. I mean, like everybody had the Steelers winning the AFC North, but that obviously didn't happen. That's why Baltimore is going to be hosting this game. It's going to be a Saturday night game. It's going to be high energy. It's a lot of emotion going into this game. That's why I have to give the Ravens the edge with my final prediction here. I would have to go 24. I would go 24-20. So I think it could be like a little bit of a closer game than we think, because right now I feel like Mike Tomlin is making sure that he can write that book on Lamar. And if he's able to upset Lamar in this game, I think this would definitely add to that legacy for Mike Tomlin. But I got the Ravens moving on 24-20. It'll be a huge battle between the defenses. We'll see what TJ Watt is able to wreck the game, but they definitely have to make sure that they double him. Otherwise, if he can kind of get into a rhythm, he can wreck a game. But yeah, we're moving forward. We got the Sunday games. Bills, Broncos, we're talking about another MVP candidate in Josh Allen going up against a rookie quarterback in Bo Nix. The upstart Broncos, they were able to sneak into the playoffs thanks to the Chiefs not being able to beat the Broncos, and the Broncos were facing elimination in that must-win game. So Bills, Broncos, your takeaway on Bills, Broncos?
Well, I would say first and foremost, I think the Broncos are a little bit overlooked. They have a much better defense than people give them credit for. Bo Nix is playing very good football. I mean, he benefited from like 6 years in college.
yeah. Oregon, Auburn, Oregon.
Yeah, man. It's like, whoa. But I would say in this game, based on them having Josh,
Yes.
the Bills, I would say my prediction for this game would be like a 34-21 or 24, like a 10-point win for the Bills, because I have to give credit to the defense, but I think the Bills' offense and just how dynamic they are, I just think that would be too much to sustain for 4 quarters, and I think they end up probably maybe towards the later part of the game blowing the game open and ending up with that 31-34, 24-21, 10-point win.
Yeah, open it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Jim, Bills, Broncos, we'll keep going with the rotation.
You have a veteran quarterback, Josh Allen, taking on a rookie quarterback, Bo Nix. Don't get me wrong, the Broncos were amazing this year, even though they started off rocky. You're able to sneak into the wild card. They almost blew it. They beat a Kansas City team that didn't start their starters, so you can't look down on any team, because we watch sports. Anyone could beat anyone. It could be a close game. It could be a blowout. I think the main character in this game is actually going to be James Cook of Buffalo. I think they're going to give him the rock a lot more this game. He's going to score 3 touchdowns, and so I'm going to go. Give me 24-10. Buffalo.
Okay. Yeah, this is tough. I know this is going to be the Von Miller Bowl because Von Miller is going to be playing his Broncos. And Bills, Broncos, this is going to be a great matchup maybe in a few years, maybe an AFC Championship game. But in his rookie year, Bo Nix has definitely overcame a lot of obstacles. I mean, he kind of had a slower start. There's some questions in regards to his accuracy, his ability to throw the ball downfield, even with having some great players in Cortland Sutton. I know that no longer has Jerry Jeudy. That would have been a nice piece to keep in Denver, but obviously that he could come back, because I think that the way that he was able to ball out, I think Denver should definitely take a look at maybe bringing Jerry Jeudy back. But Sean Payton, I'll let him figure that out. But in regards to this offense, they are almost like week to week trying to figure out a new running back. So I don't know if it's going to be McLaughlin this year or this week, or if it's going to be Javonte Williams. So that kind of brings an element of matchups, and I feel like Denver could be that sneaky team where I think they could definitely jump out to a lead in this game. But I have so much belief in Josh Allen being that guy and just being the best football player out there, and also having James Cook. That always helps. So I got Bills winning this game. I want to say that it's going to be a little bit closer So I got 27-17. Again, it would probably be like a second half adjustment. The Bills are able to extend the lead and take care of business, but no huge upset here. I got Bills moving forward. I feel like, again, you run the ball in Buffalo. It's cold weather. I think that's going to help the Bills advance. All right, Eagles-Packers. That would be the afternoon game. So we're done with the noon game on Sunday, and then we're getting ready for seconds. It's Eagles-Packers at the Link. Your thoughts, Coach?
Eagles are, like we talked about earlier, Ohio State. They're freaking stacked.
Yeah.
They have talent on top of talent on top of talent on top of talent. They got, 7, 8 Pro Bowlers.
All pro,
Like, it's
right?
ridiculous.
It's crazy.
Saquon Barkley, 2,000 yards rushing. Everything says that this game should be easily the Eagles. The Packers, though, they are that sneaky, gritty, underappreciated, overlooked. They can run the football very well. Packers play really good run defense. They're a little bit susceptible on the back end because of Jair Alexander being out.
Sure.
So if I had to make a prediction, which we're doing,
Yes.
I'm just going to go with the Eagles just having more talent.
Yeah.
I'll say a 14-point win by the Eagles.
Okay.
Something like 28-14.
Okay.
Something to that
Something to that
effect.
nature.
2
Okay.
scores. And just based on the fact that they have so many weapons. They have Saquon, Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, mobility with Hurts, not a great passer, but good enough. They got a great offensive line. On the defensive side, Eagles top 5 defense, crazy rush, pass rush, ability to play coverage on the back end. They got everything.
Right. They do.
Here's the wild card, though. Nick Sirianni has been known to goof up critical situations and decisions.
Sure.
So hopefully, this is one coach to another.
Yeah.
He don't mess it up somehow, because he has a history of making some really questionable decisions and weird decisions. Not even like what's my guy, Detroit's coach?
Dan Campbell.
Dan Campbell.
Yeah.
So now we're talking about this Dan Campbell was being hyper aggressive, but just
Right.
like clear situation with clock management.
Sure.
What type of penalty
Fourth
to
down.
accept.
Right.
Yeah, go for it or not.
Penalty,
Like,
right.
he just kind of has like game management challenges.
Sure.
So hopefully, if it is close, because again, the styles kind of match. Run first, good defense.
Right.
You want to get some explosive passes downfield with your dynamic receivers. So if they are playing that kind of back and forth,
Sure.
tough, close football game, it don't come down to a goof up on his part. Because they're already looking at him saying, if they don't get to the Super Bowl, at least get to it, because
Yeah.
you got Pat that's going to be there on the other side. That's
Right. Yeah.
I'm just go ahead and throwing it out there.
Yeah.
If you got to face Pat and you lose to Pat in the Super Bowl, that's acceptable.
That's acceptable. You can live with that.
That's
Right.
like Brady back in his run.
Right.
If you lose to the Patriots, Tom Brady, okay. Nobody's happy, but okay.
No one's happy. Right. But
It's like Jordan. Jordan blocked how many great players from getting rings?
oh, absolutely.
So many.
So many. Right.
People
Countless.
don't have rings because Jordan was in the way.
Right.
So my point is, if he messes up the game and or they lose early, especially wild card weekend, he's going to be looking for a job next year.
For sure. I believe that Philly would not react favorably if the Eagles do get bounced in this wild card round, knowing that, second seed, you had the success of signing Saquon Barkley, you had great draft picks, everything's come together, and then you finally got Jalen Hurts to not turn the ball over this year, and you can't have back-to-back years getting knocked out in the wild card.
Jalen Hurts, he also got to step up and play good. Because this year has not been a great year from him. And then the last 2 games or whatever where these backups been playing, them backups have been lighting the scoreboard up.
Yeah,
they have been lighting it up.
Right.
And their passing game has looked their passing game has looked significantly better.
Sure.
Let's just be honest, with those other dudes. So that's going to raise some questions. Like, well, is Jalen the one holding us back? And then A.J. Brown said a few weeks ago, what's the problem with the offense? Passing. Remember that?
Yeah.
So A.J. Brown even said the problem that
His
we're
best
having
friend.
is
Yeah.
the
Is
problem
it?
we're having is
Yeah.
throwing the ball.
Throwing the ball.
Uh-oh, Jalen gets hurt, and then the backup comes in, and they drop whatever, how many points, some
Right.
ridiculous amount, and the passing game was the best it's looked all year.
Unstoppable. Yeah. Raising some eyebrows and getting some, getting more eyeballs on the actual, like, you're gonna get a lot of eyeballs in regards to if there's any struggles with Jalen.
Not saying he needs to play,
No.
Lamar and get 29 touchdowns and 1,000 passing yards, but this in terms of the operation of the offense, does it look stagnant? Does it look disjointed? Is there timing issues? And are we struggling to move the ball?
Are we missing throws?
Missing throws.
Right.
If I'm Nick Sirianni, and I've done it many times in my coaching career, hey, back up, warm up.
Okay.
We can't lose.
No.
We cannot lose on some friendship or loyalty to this quarterback. We got to look at the whole franchise, the whole program, everybody in here. We need to win. That don't mean that Jalen's going to be benched forever.
Right.
But if you ain't got it, and he's coming back from 2 weeks off with a concussion.
Sure.
And he ain't been practicing because you can't practice when you're in concussion protocol.
Right.
So you got him rusty as crap.
Right.
If he's not getting it done, hey, back up. Come on.
Yep.
We got to win, bro.
We gotta win, right?
We can try it again next week. But
Exactly.
for tonight,
Yep.
we got to win.
Absolutely. And being the second seed, you would be hosting
Right.
the second round. So yeah,
And your
you gotta
favorite.
win. Yeah.
And you're at home.
And you're at home.
Come on now.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So yeah, there's a lot of questions to be answered in this game. Jalen Hurts on the hot seat. Nick Sirianni on the hot seat. We're looking at the Packers side with Jordan Love. You said that they have been running the ball better, but I feel like Jordan Love has been kind of getting off to a slow start, and he did get knocked out in the last game. Maybe they shift back to Malik Willis if he has kind of a slow start too. So that could be the case here, especially if it's like there's no tomorrow in these playoff games. Yeah,
I think in the playoff is do or die.
sure.
We got hundreds of people within our franchise whose jobs are on the line. Administrative people, front office people,
Sure.
players on the roster, everybody. We lose, everybody going home sad, and we praying about what our future is.
Absolutely.
It's all on the line, bro. So if Jordan Love is stinking it up that bad, got to make that move.
Right.
That's
For
why
the
they pay you.
program.
That's why you're the coach.
Yep.
You got to make the move. You got to make that decision.
Absolutely. I would agree with that. Jim, real quick. Eagles, Packers.
Eagles Packers, it's going to come down to a quarterback duel. You have Jalen Hurts, he's back off concussion protocol. You have Jordan Love, he's off the injured list with his elbow. Running game, you have a good matchup. Josh Jacobs, he's been a beast for the Packers. You have Saquon, who's been MVP candidate for the league and for the Eagles. It's going to come down to defense, really. I mean, you could go back to week one, and you can't even take week one into
Brazil.
consideration because Brazil, because they weren't even playing on, like, everyone was slipping. They had to get used to the field. They had to get used to having everything. Like, you're in a different country. You're different time zone. You're playing on you're starting the season on a Friday, not a Thursday. You're on a soccer pitch. You're not on a regular football field. Everyone's slipping and sliding. Grass is getting torn up. You can't look at that game, but if you look at the games past it, the Eagles, even without having Jalen Hurts at quarterback, their defense was able to step up. If you look at Malik Willis, the Packers, and Malik Willis, and you look at them when he's going, he had to do most of the work. They played Tennessee in early games. They played the Colts. The defense did step up, but the defense also gave up a lot of big games and a lot of big games. Where in the Eagles, they lost once or twice. It gave up big games, but most of the games were like 1 or 2 games where they happened. So I think the defense goes to the Eagles, and this is going to be a defensive game. So I'm gonna go Eagles in this one.
Okay. Do you have a score?
It's going to be close. It's going to be 17-10.
Okay. 17-10.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll keep this fairly short. I'm going Eagles. I got Eagles winning this game. I would say 31, 31-17. I feel like that is going to be the difference. It might be just like a late turnover by the Packers to shift the tide. But I feel like with Saquon, Saquon is kind of like that injection into this Eagles offense. When it could be stagnant, they hand the ball off. I feel like, again, it kind of comes back to what we talked about in the Ravens-Steelers. That's the formula. You hand it off to your big running back. That's like you have to give it to your studs in these big games.
Absolutely.
And I feel like if Nick Sirianni and the head coaching staff, they don't screw it up or like somehow have a coaching gaffe, I feel like the Eagles should win this game as long as they have the most talent on defense. They got Cooper DeShawn. They got Blankenship. They got
Gardner Johnson.
Yeah, right. Chauncey Gardner Johnson. He's like leading in like interceptions. He's a stud in regards to like. I'm glad that he came back because he was in Detroit for a season.
He came back.
Yep, he came back. And then they also have just great leadership. I know obviously they're missing Brandon Graham, which right when they were, I think, at the peak of their defense, because the way that they were able to shut down LA and basically just they were running right through all these teams, and I feel like right when that injury happened, that was kind of like the big uh-oh moment in regards to like, is Philadelphia going to be able to hold on to this momentum? But I feel strongly in regards to like if they get ahead, I feel like this Eagles defense is just superior to the Packers in regards to being able to keep this close.
I agree.
Yep. All right. All right. So that moves us into the Sunday night game. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Kudos to Mike Evans being able to get his bonus. That's awesome in regards to his teammates being able to support him and being able to get that. But not to bury the headline, he goes up against the Washington Commanders and Marshawn Lattimore, his arch nemesis. Arch nemesis, yes. So we're going to see Tampa Bay, Baker Mayfield, Heisman winner, Jaden Daniels, Washington Commanders, Heisman winner. Your thoughts on this matchup?
I think that, number one, big shout out to Baker Mayfield, bro.
Absolutely.
Getting drafted to Cleveland, they running him out of town, saying it's his fault. Going to Carolina, another dysfunctional franchise. Oh, he might be over the hill.
Right.
He humbled himself, went to L.A., learned some stuff out there, got some time to reflect, goes down to Tampa on a one-year prove-it deal, plays great. This year, lighting it up. Big shout out to Baker.
Absolutely.
With that said, that boy in Washington, Daniels, he's something different, bro. He has that Mahomes level of like poise, confidence, makes the right plays. Like this moment's never too big for him. This clutch on top of clutch. He had like 5 game-winning drives this season. It's hard for me to root against him. And then with Tampa's defense being very man coverage based, very blitz heavy with Todd Bowles, I think he kind of cracks that code because you can't really do that against mobile quarterbacks. So I like Washington. It's going to be a fun, exciting game. It's going to be a lot of points scored. I'm going like 34-31, something like that. I see it being a shootout. Both defense ain't great.
No, exactly. All right, Jim. We got Buccaneers, Commanders, Sunday Night Football.
I'm looking forward to this game. I think this is going to be the game of the weekend here. It's not one of those games where it's like it's a definitive, like this team's going to win, and here's why. This team's going to win because their opponents stink. But this game is going to come between two teams. Both teams are coming in off winning the final game of the year. Tampa had more to lose than Washington did. Washington was playing for seeding. Tampa was playing for a playoff berth. I think Tampa, with Baker Mayfield, he's been very good. Mike Evans, he's been good. He's tied Jerry Rice for the most amount of seasons with 1,000+ receptions. it's going to come down to, again, the rookie in Daniels. Can he handle the pressure in playoffs? And I think they built a good team around him. And I think at the end of the day, I'm going to go with Washington actually with this one. I think they're going to pull up the offset. They're going to upset. They're going to win. They're going to beat Tampa in Tampa. I think they have a better chance with a better roster to do it.
Score.
Okay. Score.
Ooh, score. Okay. I'm going to go 21-20 with a last-second field goal to win it.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Okay. 21-20. Walk-off. Field goal. All right. Tampa Bay, they're going to be in the humidity. I mean, whatever humidity is available in January for Tampa. Washington, rookie. This is going to be a rematch of the Week 1. So we got 2 Week 1 rematches on Sunday. I got to go. I really like what Dan Quinn is doing in regards to letting Jane Daniels lead this team, grow into his role. Not asking him to do too much, but also realizing what he can do. Protecting the quarterback, too, in regards to not having him do things that are going to expose him to injury. So I feel like with that being said, and really love what Baker's been able to do with that whole franchise in Tampa Bay, but I just feel like Tampa Bay's just got too many, I feel like, questions that I have going into this playoff matchup. I just feel like Dan Quinn and what he's able to do on defense is going to be able to limit what Baker can do compared to what Jaden can be limited by in regards to
Todd Bowles' defense.
Yeah, Todd Bowles' defense. Like I'm going Jaden Daniels 27-24. It's going to be a close game, but yeah, I just got to go with what I've seen so far in regards to like those gotta have it moments. I'm gonna go with Jaden Daniels. I mean, starting with that Hail Mary against Chicago, I think that boosted his confidence tenfold.
Yep. One thing I want to add real quick.
Sure.
Is a great job by Dan Quinn of hiring Cliff Kingsbury.
Yes.
Put your young rookie quarterback in a situation to be successful by running things that he's used to running, and then maybe transition during the year and throughout his career to more of the pro-style stuff,
Sure.
Traditional pro-style stuff. That's why he's got off to a great start. That's why he's so comfortable, because he's doing what he's always done.
Right.
Great job by Dan Quinn.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and he is going to be definitely in the talks for maybe some coaching opportunities
For sure.
because of what he's done. Yeah,
For sure.
Cliff Kingsbury does definitely a great job getting Jaden Daniels to mature throughout the season. Great call out there. And yeah, Todd Bowles, great job in regards to picking up where Tampa Bay was in the Super Bowl and still making the playoffs right after. Okay, so that shifts us to the Monday night game. Biggest game for, I guess, the state here, obviously. But it's going to be Los Angeles Rams versus the Minnesota Vikings in Glendale, Arizona. I'll let you kick off.
My takeaway is a couple things. One, we played the Rams before.
Yes.
So we should be able to take and look at that film and see where we struggled.
Absolutely.
If I'm Sean McVay, I'm looking at the defense and saying, okay, this is what we did in that matchup. This is what they've been doing the last couple of weeks since we played them. I'm going to come in looking to do X, Y, and Z.
Absolutely.
That's just smart coaching. You got to do the same thing. Last week against the Lions, Kevin O'Connell got outcoached.
Yes.
I hate to call out other coaches, especially coaches who are on the NFL level, because I ain't my high school football coach, still trying to build my program, so I'm not trying to talk down.
Yep.
But objectively,
Yes.
we knew the Lions play man-to-man defense. They're very, very aggressive. They press, they blitz, they make things tough on you. And Kevin O'Connell and the offensive staff didn't run many screens. They didn't run much motion. They didn't run any drag or shallow routes, all their traditional things, move the quarterback that you do to beat the man covers. So this is a great opportunity, landing my plane here, for Kevin O'Connell and the staff to bounce back. Because they played against the Rams, and the score was in the 40s, right? It was 45, 42, or some crazy number, if I remember correctly. Let's go back, make our adjustments. We got the film. We seen where we struggled last week. We're assuming that the Rams are going to kind of copy and paste what the Lions did, playing some man coverage, pressing up on our receivers, double covering JJ, blitzing. Let's come out. Let's answer the bell. Let's make some adjustments. Let's get some easy offense, easy completions, move the ball with some screens and some quick game, open up the offense. Let's stay balanced with the running game. It's another thing I think they struggle against the Lions. They are very committed to throwing the ball down the field. They didn't run the ball as much as they usually do. Let's go in and play what we've been doing all year. Run the ball with Jones and Chandler. Let's get some quick game stuff going, get our receivers in space, athletes in space, and then once that defense starts to play up a little bit, let's take some calculated shots with our offense. Defensively, we're right there. Our defense has not been the problem. All we have to do on defense as the Vikings is put pressure on Stafford.
Yes.
He's a drop-back traditional passer. He ain't running. A few weeks back when he ran for 9 yards, that was the longest run he's had in like 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Okay, he's not
3
moving.
years, 9 years.
Yeah, he ain't going nowhere.
He's not going nowhere. Fast.
That works great for us.
Yes.
Play our defense. Be aggressive. Blitz him. Make it uncomfortable for him.
Yes.
Put hands on Puka Nacua. Put hands on Cooper Kupp. Make it hard for them. Make him uncomfortable. Get a couple of turnovers. We got game. Vikes. I'm going Vikings. 31-24.
Okay.
Vikes. If they do what I asked them to do.
Right. Okay. Well stated. Well stated, Coach. So as Coach Chauncy just said, Vikes 31-24. Jim, what's your thoughts going into Glendale on Monday?
I mean, Coach really hit it on the head there with everything. I mean, they just got a coach, and we play every team good. When we played the Rams earlier in the season, it was tough to watch because they just didn't look in sync. And that happened in the season. They lost to Detroit. Look what happened last week. We lost to Detroit out of sync. So I'm hoping deja vu doesn't happen. We have film. We know what we did wrong. We know what we can do to be better. And gosh, I'm nervous. My Uber driver was very confident that we are going to lose to the Rams, but he also says that he wants us to win so the Lions can beat the Vikings 3 times in the season.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're in Detroit, so yeah. He just saw probably our worst game of the season this last week. Yeah.
Yes. And one word of advice for the refs: watch for the face mask, because and let that happen. Let that miss happen.
That was critical.
Egregious. Right.
I'm gonna go Vikings here. I'm gonna go 34-28.
34-28. Okay. Cool. Yep. Last matchup was going all the way back to week 8. The last time Los Angeles and the Minnesota Vikings squared off. The score was 30-20. That controversial non-call of the face mask that basically ended the game. Jared Verse goes in, hits the face mask on Sam Darnold. No call. Safety. Ball game. And then that was the first game that the Rams got Puka Nacua back.
Yeah.
And they had, basically they were firing on all cylinders.
Yep.
And that's like the most rejuvenated that I've seen Matthew Stafford. That can't happen if the Vikings look to advance. They need to have that pressure on him. Whether that's Jonathan Grenard being able to get in the backfield, ruining any type of rushing attack. Because I think Kyron Williams had a good game in that Week 8 matchup. So if they're able to limit that, and now they'll have Blake Cashman with linebacker, help with Ivan Pace Jr. This is going to be a healthier defense, and I feel like that is going to be a huge change in regards to what we saw in Week 8.
Yep.
And then also, this is a huge opportunity for Kevin O'Connell. Now it's the Sensei going up against the Master in regards to Sean McVay. They won a Super Bowl together, and a lot of people are saying, like, all right, is it just McVay's genius and it doesn't really go beyond that in regards to winning the big games? Because Kevin O'Connell is still looking for the number 1 for his playoff win, so this would be monumental. It's been 5 years since the last playoff win for the Minnesota Vikings. That was back in 2020 when they took out the New Orleans Saints on the road, and it was then we ended up losing to the 49ers when you guys went to the Super Bowl that year. So, hey, I had to at least give you some positivity here.
Bang, bang. Niner game.
Hey, it's all love, brother. In regards to now what we're seeing now with this season, this version of the Minnesota Vikings, Sam Darnold had probably the most nightmare game for basically the NFC. And now he has everybody else writing him off. And I feel like right now you're playing with house money. No one's expecting Minnesota to make a run in the playoffs, especially after what they've seen in the last game of the year, Week 18. You had everything in front of you, having that first round bye. That's all gone now. Now you're going in as a wild card. You have to prove it. And I feel like that starts this week with Sam Darnold being able to make those throws, being able to stay in rhythm. And also his offensive line probably had the worst overall game as a full unit. So that can't happen. That can't happen if we want to see a different result. Cam Akers, this is a revenge game. He's going up against the Los Angeles Rams, who wrote him off. So I think this would be a huge opportunity for Kevin O'Connell to definitely implement Cam Akers into this game, because football is a game of emotion. Mm-hmm. And if you're telling me that he's not going to get up for this game, I feel like Cam Akers doesn't have a heartbeat. So I feel like you got to get Cam Akers into this game, whether it's screens. And then that's one thing, too, that I want to applaud Kevin O'Connell. He was getting roasted for his screen game, but his screen game has definitely improved, especially with the additions of Aaron Jones. But I definitely want to see Aaron Jones eclipse 100, because I felt like in the first matchup, I don't know if he was close to 100, but I felt like if he got over that 100, that could have been a shift in the tide. But Justin Jefferson, expect huge things from him. Jordan Anderson, definitely need TJ Hawkinson to get into the act a little bit more. But I got Vikings winning this game 35-20. I feel like the defense does a really good job of keeping this away from a one-score game.
Wow.
Yeah. I feel like there might be a Cam Bynum celebration coming up.
Oh, yeah. He got something.
He's got something cooking. Okay, so that wraps up in regards to the NFL action. Real quick, NBA. What's your thoughts in regards to what you're seeing with Anthony Edwards and the Minnesota Timberwolves, or any other? Like, have you been watching a lot of hoops in regards to?
I've been watching a good portion. Okay. Anthony Edwards came out and told everybody, look, I'm not trying to drive to the hoop like that no more. The punishment and the pain is not worth the reward.
Yeah.
Trading Cat, I'm on the record.
Okay.
I was saying for the last 2 or 3 seasons, Cat is soft, he ain't a winner, he ain't clutch, he ain't built like that. Get rid of him, trade him.
Get him out. Yeah.
Boy, was I wrong.
Time out. Time out, right? Time out now.
Boy, was I wrong.
Hey, it's
Cat's absence is astronomical. Mm-hmm. Defensively, I think just from a vibes, because he has that carefree personality. Sure. You got Ant, who's like serious, and you got Ingram.
Yep.
Or what's it? The big guy, the big man that they got.
Oh,
they traded
Gobert?
No, the other one.
Oh, you're talking about
the one he got from the Knicks.
Oh, you're talking about Julius Randle.
Ingram.
Yeah.
Randle, excuse me. Mm-hmm. Randle's super serious, a cancer, selfish player.
Yeah,
so the vibes are off because of him. You got the vibes weird because Anthony Edwards ain't happy.
Right.
I think if Cat was there, the vibes would be different because he got that carefree, happy-go-lucky personality.
Right. They're able to gel. Yeah.
So massive move that backfired.
For sure.
That threw off the whole vibe of the season, the whole chemistry of the offense. The defense ain't there no more.
It's not there anymore. Defense is optional right now. Yeah.
Gobert is a liability. As we've always known, he's a defensive specialist.
Yes.
People pick on him, put him pick and rolls and all that stuff. Now you don't have Cat to back him up.
Nope.
It's bad.
It's bad.
So that's my take on the Wolves. And then overall with the league, the three-pointers, man, it's an epidemic, dude.
It is.
It is a three-point shooting contest every week, or every night, I should say. And that's hurt the product. That's hurt the viewership. It's hurting the league, honestly. And now that we're moving towards, we're kind of getting closer to All-Star Weekend and things like that.
Yep.
And then people kind of start switching the intensity up for playoffs, making that stretch, making seedings and all that.
Exactly.
I'm interested to see how many teams, if any, start pivoting a little bit and stop doing the three-point contest thing and start playing a little bit more inside out, just for the fact that it's different from what everybody else is doing, and it's easy offense.
Right.
Forget which game it was, but there was a game where they shot 90 three-pointers in one game.
Wow.
90 three-point attempts.
You're just watching guys just chuck up threes all game.
Literally, it's like an all-star game or going to the Y and dudes is just hucking it up.
Hucking it up, right.
And that's my big takeaway on the NBA right now. The All-Star Weekend also is another thing that's a problem. Guys are not looking to compete in the game. The dunk contest, all the great players of old, besides LeBron, participated in the dunk contest. That's lost its luster. So I think the NBA is probably making more money than they've ever made. But in terms of
they got the in-season tournament now.
Right. But I think the product overall is at a place where it's kind of on a teetering / breaking point. Because people are disinterested. Like, I don't want to watch guys just throw up three-pointers. Nobody's running offense really no more. It's a pick and roll, drive to the basket, kick it out for a three, or guys just playing 5 out and just swinging the ball until they get somebody open and hook it up a three.
Right.
Mid-range ain't there. Nobody driving to the basket no more. Anthony Edwards finally dunked on somebody the other night. Yeah. That was cool. First time all season.
Right.
Yeah, it's like.
But like you don't get that every night. Right.
No. So that's that. I'm a Laker fan.
Okay. Go Lakers.
Diehard Lakers fan and a closet Warriors fan. Me being from the Bay Area.
Okay.
I always got a soft spot a little bit for the Warriors, but I can't lie. Back when I was little, there wasn't nobody rooting for the Warriors.
No.
They were terrible.
Yeah.
Lakers were good, obviously. So I think with LeBron being as old as he is and doing what he's doing amazing things at his age. But he's 40, about to be 41, bro. Or whatever, about to be 40 years old, 39, about to be 40.
Yep, he's 40.
He should not be leading the team in points, rebounds, and assists no more. What's going on?
Yeah.
Anthony Davis, a lot to be desired. He just don't have that extra gear for him to take over. LeBron been trying to have him be the number one option and be the number one player on the team for years. And Anthony's not going to do it. So I feel like if they really want to make a big move in the right direction, maybe get a handful of young guys in there that can do some scoring and do some defense, have that energy on a night-to-night basis. And that's where we're at. J.J. Redick, being our coach, started out great.
Yeah.
But you find out who you are as a coach. You find out about your team, not when things are going good, but when they're going bad.
Right.
And he's finding out right now, Darvin Ham had a tough job.
Right. It was not a quick fix. Right?
No, this ain't just him coming in with all his smart basketball plays and fixing everything, because he's a smart coach,
he's
smart person, high basketball IQ, but it's more than just being smart. You got to build a program, you got to build a locker room, you got to build commitment, you got to build that culture, and that's what it takes. Right. So that's kind of my overall kind of big bullet points. I think Boston's going to win it again.
Okay, Boston repeats, okay.
I think Boston's going to win it again. Teams like OKC, the Cavs, I think will give them some resistance. Dallas, but they got to get healthy and kind of get a vibe going. But I think Boston's going to win it again, back to back.
Okay, no, I mean, that's I could definitely see that happening in regards to if Boston stays healthy. Because right now Cleveland is number one in the East, and what we're seeing, New York has a nice resurgence. They're definitely going to be a tough out. On the West, OKC's been just by far the runaway team of the West, Western Conference. where we're seeing right now, Golden State is in that final 10th seed, but they're going to be battling with San Antonio, and San Antonio, with Wemby, they're going to be one of those teams that I feel like they're going to just outlast a lot of these teams, because they're going to be, I think, the team that's going to play what you mentioned earlier, the inside out, and that's kind of more of San Antonio's like bread and butter. That's their blueprint, the inside out, be able to get that foul trouble, and then be able to also kick out to their three-pointers when needed, and not just abusing the three-pointer.
Right.
Yep. And what I'm seeing here with Minnesota in the last couple of games, it is promising, but I feel like they do need to make a move, and I hope that they can actually get like a defensive presence. Like if they can get like a Bruce Brown, I think he's either with Toronto now, or if they somehow can get Jalen Suggs, like from Orlando, somehow.
That'd be massive.
That would be massive. Exactly. That massive is the word, because that would feed families in regards to what Minnesota could do with having Jalen Suggs and Anthony Edwards in the same backcourt. Because Jaden McDaniels, I want to believe, but it's like, how many times are we going to see the same story? Like, oh, he's not really developing that offensive side, and you invested so much into him. You want to see him develop as a full player.
Right.
Yeah. But going into the closing, again, I'm going to land this plane too. What I'm seeing here in regards to Minnesota and all the teams in the East, in regards, like, if they were to match up, let's just say Minnesota figures this out in like a year or two, and then they can get to the finals, because I don't think finals are in the cards this year.
No.
It is more likely it's going to be either OKC, possibly Denver. Denver can kind of get back into their rhythm. But what I'm seeing for Minnesota, maybe like in a 2-3 year plan, is if they can get some type of bench, because I feel like right now we've kind of emptied our bench with that trade. But I'm really excited to see Rob Dillingham develop. So that's just something to look forward to. But yeah, Jim, any thoughts in regards to what you've been seeing with the NHL? I know you've been watching hockey throughout the winter.
Yeah. Hockey drop winter. Yeah. Well, they had their Winter Classic New Year's Eve, which was the lowest rating outdoor hockey game that they had, which, I mean, they're breaking tradition. They're playing the day early. Next year they're playing the day late. I think the Winter Classic itself has lost its luster. I went to the second one when it was in Fenway. It was a crazy story. I'll tell it another time.
Okay.
When we have more time at the end. But it lost its luster. It's hard to get into it. Plus, the teams they had, they weren't good teams. They had Chicago, St. Louis. They weren't really good. But they should have had Minnesota. Minnesota's been playing very well. Minnesota deserves another outdoor game. Next year they're going to be in Florida, which, I mean, they've done it before. They've done it in Las Vegas. Other than that, it has been fun. The East, the second wild card, the last, everyone's in it still, so it's not like a team's bottom out. You go look at the West, you have great competition. Winnipeg's playing great. Minnesota's playing great. So we're getting to those dog days where, like, the season's halfway over. Now everyone's got to buckle down. Buckle down. Trade season's starting soon. Who's on the chopping block? Who's going to get shipped out? Who's going to get shipped in? It's going good.
Okay. No, that's awesome. So yeah, we'll just close with that. Minnesota Wild, Minnesota Timberwolves, Minnesota Vikings. A lot of sports activity. I know with the winter solstice behind us, now we're getting more brighter and longer days. So a lot to look forward to in 2025. Definitely want to thank you again, Chauncy, my brother. Appreciate you again for coming by and stopping by the 94 podcast. We hope to have you again. But yeah, this has been the 94 podcast. Until next time, we'll see you at the TOP. And we're out.